I'm joining you from bed today, not just because I'm tired, which I am, but because I wanted to show you my brand new handmade PJs and tell you about my experience sewing for 24 hours for the big sew-off last week. Hello and welcome to Blossom Sandwich Sews. My name is Yvette and I am the co-founder of the sewing organiser app Stash Hub. So I am hosting the Sew To Celebrate 2 challenge this month, and I was also invited to participate in the Big Sew Off charity 24-hour sew-a-thon last week. So I needed to make a project for the challenge that I'm hosting. I feel like you kind of have to join in your own challenge if you are hosting an Instagram challenge. And I also needed some nice PJs to wear for our midnight fashion show at the Big Sew Off. So I thought I would combine the two and make some PJs that I could wear to the Big Sew Off, and also that I could use up some 2-meter cuts of fabric in my stash to kill two birds with one stone, as it were. So first I will tell you about my PJs project, then I'll tell you all about the amazing time that I had at the Big Sew Off, all the things that I made and all the money that we raised for Mind charity. So I'll put loads of links in the description as well, so make sure you check that out. But yeah, let's get started on my PJs plan. So if you watched my vlog from a couple of weeks ago where I was sorting through my fabric stash to figure out what to de-stash at the Surrey Sews swap event, which is on Saturday, by the way, so make sure you get a ticket if you do want to come along to that. It's in Woking, Saturday afternoon, so I'll put a link to that in the description as well. But I was deciding what fabric to take to the swap, and these fabrics that I've used for this project, you may remember, were ones that I was on the fence about whether to keep or to de-stash. And then suddenly, when I was thinking about the Big Sew Off, the idea hit me that I could use these two fabrics to make some pajamas. And that just clicked for me. I don't know if you guys ever get this feeling, but you have a fabric that's in your stash for a while, you've had a few ideas for it, but you've never kind of committed to actually cutting it out into a project and sewing it up. Then you get one idea and it just clicks and you're like, yes, that's what this fabric has been waiting for. So this fabric and the fabric that I used for the bottoms, I don't know if I can show you. So they're both a cotton seersucker fabric. So one's gingham and one is plain. And I bought them both together when I was on holiday in California a couple of years ago. And while I was there, I popped into Joann's and I just saw these two fabrics next to each other and thought, yeah, these two fabrics need to be together in an outfit. So we've got the gingham, the plain, very similar colorway, both the cotton seersucker, and I love a textured fabric. It makes it so much more interesting. So I bought these two fabrics and I had 2 yards of each. In the 2 meters Sew To Celebrate 2 challenge, it's basically use as close to 2 meters of any fabric with cotton content as you can. So like 2 yards is basically 2 meters. So I'll refer you back to my intro video if you want to find out more about the rules of the challenge and how to get involved. So yeah, I had these 2 yards of these two fabrics, and I'd had a few different ideas of kind of color block dresses, like the April dress from Forget Me Not Patterns, different ideas, but I'd never actually committed, so maybe like those weren't the right perfect project. So then when I had the idea to do PJs, I was like, yes, this is amazing, but I don't have any like official PJs patterns in my stash. So I thought, what like, you know, sort of tops and bottoms can I use to make it work? So for the bottoms, that was quite an easy decision. I decided to go for the trousers from the saguaro set from Friday Pattern Company. I've made these before, so I know that they fit and that they are a quite easy and speedy sew, because I didn't have that long to make these before the Big Sew Off. So I thought, yep, saguaro pants, and I'll do that in the plain fabric. For the saguaro set trousers, I found that when I laid the pattern pieces out with the fabric folded and on the grain, I couldn't quite fit the trousers out, and I really wanted full length trousers instead of like pajama shorts to wear at the Big Sew Off. So then I tried cutting on the cross grain and it fitted perfectly on the cross grain. So yeah, that's a top tip if you are joining in the Sew To Celebrate 2 challenge, but you're struggling to fit things onto your 2-meter cuts of fabric, you could always try the cross grain, as you might be able to fit more on. So yeah, that's a great tip for you there. Because I was short on fabric for the trousers, I decided to do contrast pocket bags and waistband using the check fabric. So I'll stand up so you can see that. So I've got the plain blue for the drawstring, and then for the waistband, the check, and then the check is on the inside of the pockets too, which I think is quite cute and ties the two pieces together quite well as well. And then for the top, my original plan was the Andy top by Swim Style Patterns, and I believe they've got a sale on at the moment actually, so do check them out if you're interested in any of their patterns, if you've got any patterns on your Stash Hub wish list. So yeah, I was thinking the Andy top, which has like nice big sleeves and then kind of a drawstring to ruche it up the middle. And I tried to fit the pattern pieces on the gingham fabric, but the fabric isn't actually that wide, and because the sleeves are quite big for the Andy top, I couldn't make it work, and I didn't really want the Andy top in the sleeveless version, which the pattern does include. So I thought, okay, I'll have to think of a different pattern for the top. So then I looked in my Stash Hub at my pattern options, and I found the Lawrence top by Helen's Closet, and that's a pattern that I've been wanting to make for ages, but I just haven't got round to it. So this is the Lawrence top by Helen's Closet. It's got these really cute flutter sleeves, and the cotton fabric really holds the volume as well. So it makes quite an interesting feature of quite a simple top, and then it's got a V-neck. So in future versions, I think I might make the V slightly less deep for myself, but I think that's just because I'm quite short. I'm only 5'2", so it might not be such a deep V-neck on people that are more of an average height. And then I didn't make any other adjustments. I think I made the size 12 in the D cup from the Helen's Closet sizing, and their block fits me quite well anyway. So in terms of the construction for the Lawrence blouse, it came together pretty quickly. The only kind of time consuming part of the process was doing a kind of rolled hem by hand on the flutter sleeves, but Helen's Closet always have really, really amazing instructions, and the instructions include like 4 or 5 different options for ways that you can finish the flutter sleeves. So there's lots of different approaches to experiment with. So yeah, really pleased with that, and I'll probably make another Lawrence top or dress at some point, but slightly change the neckline. And I might also try it as well. So this pattern has got like a V-neck facing that's top stitched, but that's on the inside, but I could try doing the facing on the outside for like a contrast facing. I think that could be a cool approach as well. All right, so that is my pajamas and my entry into the Sew To Celebrate To challenge. So I'll put in some clips so you can see the pajamas in full length as well, get more of an impression of them. And then I'll put on a slide with all of the vloggers that are coming up for the vlog tour. So I'll put a link in the description to the playlist so that you can catch up on any of the Sew To Celebrate To videos that you might have missed to get inspired for this challenge. And we've got a great loads of prizes as well, so I'll just put in the graphic for the prizes, and if you want to find out what each individual prize is, then go and head over to my introduction vlog. And now we can move on to chat about the Big Sew Off. So the Big Sew Off is a 24-hour sew-a-thon to raise money for charity, which is organised by Sew Over It. So I did join in last year, but I didn't sew for the full 24 hours. So I was a bit nervous about whether I would survive the full 24 hours this time, but it was really good, and it was I did manage it, so it was amazing. So the purpose of the Big Sew Off was to raise money for the mental health charity Mind. So I'll put a link in the description to the fundraiser. So over the 24 hours, we raised £7,000 for mine. And then since then, it's already over 8,000. So the fundraiser is still going if you haven't donated yet. But yeah, that was a really amazing part of it. And that helped keep us going as well when we saw donations coming in, and knowing that we are, you know, staying up all night, and when it's really tough, knowing that we're working really hard for a good cause. And then everything that we made at the HQ and the new craft house in London, we donated via Give Your Best. So if you haven't heard of Give Your Best, it's a charity that distributes clothes to people in need, so mostly asylum seekers and refugees. And it's kind of like a platform like Vinted, where you can shop what you want, but you don't have to pay for it. So even though they don't have any money and they're experiencing clothing poverty, they can still have the opportunity to choose clothes that they like, that feel like their personality and reflect their personal style. So that is a really great initiative. And if you have some handmade clothes that have turned out like really well, they're really nicely finished, but they just don't fit you quite right, you could consider donating them to Give Your Best. You just take a photo, make a listing with all the details, and then it gets shopped. Someone will choose your item and then you can send it off to them. So some of the items that we made, Jemima was uploading to Give Your Best whilst we were there at HQ, and some of them got shopped like straight away, especially the little kids dresses. Those were so popular. So yeah, it was really good to know that your clothes are going somewhere where they will be appreciated, because I think it's quite difficult when you donate things to a charity shop. You don't know if they're just going to end up in like a big sack that gets sent for textile recycling because they don't have the capacity to sell it, or maybe they can't because it doesn't have the correct labels in or whatever. So yeah, definitely look into Give Your Best. So let me tell you about who was there. So all night we had a group that was the Sew Over It team. So Alma, Rosie and Jemima. And then we had me, Emma from Studio 77 and Kate from Project Patterns. So yeah, that was a great little team, and we all kept each other going through the night. And then we had a few more people during the day, and that came back in the morning. So we had Lisa Comfort, who's the founder of Sew Over It. She was there during the day, and she also came back the next day to pep us up and really help us all get tidy and sorted out by the end. And we also had Chloe from Sew Over It, who came in the morning as well to give us that morning boost that we needed. And then we had other people during the day. So we had Kate from the Fold line. There was Holly Dennett who came. She sewed like about 7 babies' dresses, which were really, really cute. There was Lucy from Sew Essential. Marcus from the Sewing Bee popped in for a bit. Probably there are some more people that I'm forgetting, but you can find out more about the Big Sew Off on the Big Sew Off account on Instagram, and we've posted all of the lives there as well. So every hour on the hour there was a different live stream. So some of them were run by Alma at HQ talking to a different person or a different hub, and then some of them were takeovers run by different hubs. So I joined the Coventry hub takeover at about 2 AM. That was good fun. They were sewing for the full 24 hours as well at Warwick Uni, and they had a massive room with loads of floor space, so they had a good little dance party there. So yeah, it was a really good fun thing to be part of and raise money for some really good charities as well. So I know you're all here to find out about the things that I made. So during the 24-hour period, I made 6 things. So I'm really, really pleased with myself for that. I think, yeah, and then I was just thinking, oh wow, why do I sleep? I could just make so much stuff if I didn't have to sleep all the time. And then by 10 AM the next day I was like, yeah. So definitely need my sleep, but I think for a one-off I survived it. So I started off by making a pattern that I'd actually already had cut out for the previous year's Big Sew Off when I joined last year. So this is the April blouse from You Made My Day Patterns, and it's got like ruffles down the front, and then like a waist tie to cinch it in at the waist, bias bound neckline. And then I was planning to put flutter sleeves on, but I realised, annoyingly, I realised this after I'd hemmed the edge of the sleeve, that I'd actually cut out the pattern piece wrong for the sleeve, and it was supposed to be cut on the fold. So the sleeves that I had were actually only like half a sleeve's worth, if that makes sense. It was supposed to be like a circular piece, and I had a semicircle. So that was really frustrating. Luckily I had enough bias binding to just bind the armhole and make it sleeveless, which is one of the options on the pattern anyway. So it wasn't like a big disaster, but it was just a bit annoying, and I blame the pattern, because you know, normally when you have to cut a pattern piece on the fold, the arrows are marked for the fold on the pattern piece, but it wasn't marked like that. So it just said in writing cut on the fold, which I obviously hadn't noticed, and I didn't have any more fabric because it was a project that I'd cut out over a year ago. So yeah, I just had to bin those sleeves and go sleeveless. So that's my only word of caution with that pattern, but it was pretty cute. I think if I made it for myself, I probably wouldn't bother with the waist tie, because I tend to wear my t-shirts tucked in anyway. But yeah, it was quite cute with the ruffles on the front, and that was a really nice cotton lawn fabric from Sew Me Sunshine, who was also taking part in the big sell-off. So we chatted to them a bit as well. And then the next thing I decided to do was make something a bit simpler. So Sew Over It had brought loads of their patterns to sew with, and we had lots of fabric that had been donated from small businesses as well. So I found some French terry fabric that had been donated by Minerva, so it was one of their exclusive fabrics, and I made a long sleeve Sew Over It Ultimate t-shirt. And I decided to do the scoop neck version because I wasn't sure if the French terry would have enough stretch to be the crew neck version. So that's what I made next. And then I had a remnant of that fabric left after I'd made the adults top. So I thought it would be really cute to make a matching kids top. So I made a long sleeve Elm t-shirt, which is from the Poppy and Jazz range that Sew Over It also do. So that was really cute as well. And then there was like a tiny little scrap left after that, and Emma from Studio 77 made some matching headbands that Jemima's going to throw in with the tops when they get sent off. So that's really cute, and we used up all of that fabric, which was amazing. So really pleased with that. And then I also made a Frida dress by Sew Over It. So this was my project that I started at approximately 1:30 a.m. Probably not the best plan, because I haven't made this pattern before, and you have to do the burrito method twice. So you got to do it for the front and the back. And I had this like real slump in like the middle of the night where I was trying to do this burrito method, and it just kept going wrong. Like I had to do it 3 times. Because one time, I don't know, stuff had all got caught through the neck hole somehow, and so when you pull the middle out to unravel the burrito, it was just this sort of like Mobius strip of like unravelable burrito. So that was pretty frustrating, but I got there in the end and finished my Frida dress, and it was really cute, and that was another Minerva fabric as well. Then the next thing, so after that I was like, I need to go back to something simple, because that was just a lot for my brain trying to do all these burrito methods at like, you know, 2-3 a.m. So then Lucy from Sew Essential had made a really lovely Roscoe blouse in this cotton lawn fabric, and she'd left the remnants of that fabric behind, and I saw that fabric in our fabric collection alongside a remnant of like a heavy bottom weight twill fabric in teal, and they just looked really nice together. So I was thinking, what can I make to like combine these two fabrics? So I decided to make a tote bag, and I was feeling a little bit intimidated because Emma from Studio 77 is a bag designer, and so she's got like, you know, all the bag making skills, and I was like, if I don't pull off this like simple tote bag, it's going to be so devastating and so embarrassing. Anyway, she was really supportive, really helpful, gave me some top tips as well for doing the bag. So I lined the bag in this cotton lawn and had it so the lining was like a bit longer and poked out the top, so you could see it as like an extra detail. Added a pocket on the front as well in that fabric and did the straps in the floral fabric. So yeah, it turned out really cute in the end, and I boxed the corners, and when I boxed the corners I cut off the triangle for the corner, and then we all wore the corners of the fabric as party hats. This was, you know, when we're about 4 a.m. when we were all quite deranged. So yeah, that was quite funny. And so I had my party hat on and I just stared at Jemima waiting for her to look up, and then it was really funny. You probably had to be there, but anyway, this is why we're claiming to be the party hub, because we had the party hats, although the Coventry hub say that they were the party hat because they did they were the party hub because they did the most dancing. So we'll see what the people think. But yeah, it was really good fun. It was pretty crazy in the night. We did play some games. We did sewing charades, which you can probably see on the Instagram live if you dare. So yeah, we were trying to be scissors and fabric with our bodies. That was pretty crazy. And we also did a Snog, Marry, Avoid Christmas edition. So we were talking about the Grinch and how the Grinch actually sews and is very crafty, so maybe he'd be a good companion, maybe not for like a love marriage, but just a companionship match. That could be something there. So yeah, it was really funny. I'd recommend getting involved. The idea is that there are loads of hubs all over the country, so check out and see if any sort of sewing businesses are organising a hub in your area for the Big Sew Off next year. And make sure you donate to the fundraiser as well, because that's really what it's all about. If we're not raising the money, then we won't be still doing the Big Sew Off, because that's what it's all for, really. And then the last thing that I made was a pair of ultimate pajama bottoms with a new Sew Me Sunshine exclusive fabric, which was really lovely fabric, so soft and actually really nice to like cut out and sew as well, which is what I needed when I started that project about 6 a.m. after no sleep. So yeah, that worked out pretty well. Quite a nice simple project, and the fabric yeah, really makes it special. So that was a good make as well. I think that's everything. Let me just quickly check. So I put them all in my stash hub. That's really been a good boost to my project stats. All right, let's go. Projects, complete. Yes, we've got PJs, Frida, my tote bag. Yeah, so that's the 6 things that I made. So yeah, let me know which one is your favourite. I had a really good time, and I was actually so impressed by like how much I managed to get done, especially with no sleep, because generally I am quite a sleepy person. I do struggle to get out of bed, so I thought if I fall asleep, I'm not getting up. So I was like, I'm gonna just try and keep powering on through. And yeah, I did manage it. I don't drink tea or coffee, so I didn't have any coffee to keep me going through the night. Yeah, so it was really, really good fun, and you can find out a lot more about it on the Big Sew Off page. So yeah, that's it from me. That's my new pajamas. That's what I got up to at the Big Sew Off. So let me know what you think. And there's lots and lots of exciting stuff coming up soon. So I'm going to be at the Surrey Sews swap in Woking. So do get your ticket on Eventbrite if you fancy coming along to that, because that will help Mel decide how much cake that she needs to bring. So yeah, the swap is just basically you just bring along any sewing supplies you don't want, and then you can take any stuff that inspires you. You don't have to take the same amount that you bring. So it's a good opportunity to stock up if you know any beginner sewists as well. And I'm also going to be at the Harrogate Knitting and Stitching Show. I'm not doing a talk or anything this time, I'm just going for fun and hopefully a little bit of shopping. So I'm going to be there on the Thursday. So if you're going to be at Harrogate, please do come and say hi. That would be really fun to see you and to say hello. So yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys around, and do join in with the Sew To Celebrate To challenge as well, because there's loads of prizes up for grabs, and I'm really excited to see what you make and help you use up those 2 meter cuts of fabric in your stash. Thanks for watching. Bye.